Hello, welcome to my channel. This is Amber Rain Davis from NotableInk.com. I'm here creating a fun set of tags for Simon Says Stamp Fun and Festive release. This set features the Critter Sweater stamp set, and it's the second set of tags that I made. If you haven't seen my other video with the Critter Sweater, I'll link that at the end of this video so that you can check it out. The stamp sets we'll be using today, as I said, are the Critter Sweater stamp set from the new release, and then the Ugly Sweater stamp set from a couple years ago. We're also going to be using the Stitch Dress Up tag dies. So I'm going to start off with an A2 cut piece of AUDREY blue cardstock that's also from Simon Says Stamp, and I've inked up my stamps with Versamark ink. So I took a sampling, almost all of the knit stamps from the stamp set and placed them onto my MISTI. I used the grid pattern there to get them lined up, and I'm not too concerned about it not being perfectly lined up because I'm going to be cutting these sweaters out of this background. So I had to ink it up several times. With the stamps that close together, you really have to put some muscle into getting good coverage with your Versamark ink. Then I'm just using some white embossing powder on the blue cardstock. I will, actually I believe this is pearl embossing powder. And then I'm going to use some gold embossing powder. So I did two sets of these stamp sets. The first set I did with the pearl embossing powder, and then I did all three colors, the blue, red, and green in the gold embossing powder as well. I preferred the gold embossing powder, so that's what we're going to end up making these tags with. I will use the extra ones that I did in the pearl and the extra bits of the gold embossing for a bonus card, and I'll tag that. I'll put that in the blog post that this video is going to go along with. Or maybe I'll create a different blog post. I'm not sure. Either way, I'll post it. So make sure that your heat tool is prepped. I usually will just go ahead and turn on my heat tool before I get my embossing powder out so that it's nice and hot, and you can see that it really melts the powder quickly that way, and it will warp your cardstock less if you've got it heated beforehand. So I'm going to take the sweater die from the Ugly Sweater stamp set. I'm going to go ahead and put that on what I feel like is the best part of the embossing, and I'm just inking up the sweater stamp because I want to put a watermark of the sweater. I don't really want a black outline on my stamp or on my cardstock, but I want the suggestion of the outline of the sweater. So I'm just going to use the watermark for that. Then I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut out the area in between the arm and the main body of the sweater because I feel like that gives it a more finished appearance, having that area cut out. It's also going to pop better when it's placed on the tag itself. It'll be nicer to have a better delineation. You can see, or maybe you can see, I'll point it out, the left arm, well, left to us, was a little bit thicker than the right arm, just the way that I had it stamped. So I went ahead and fussy cut out the edge of that arm as well so that they'd be more even in size. So it just shows you the pearl versus the gold embossing powder. So now I'm taking the Happy New Year stamp from the Critter Sweater stamp set. I think Merry Christmas would have probably been more appropriate for these tags, but I wanted a small sentiment to go on this little tag that's from the Stitched Dress Up dies, so I'm going to use that Happy New Year. And I kind of just dumped my embossing powder on those, and I'll flick it off. I have a hard time remembering to precondition. Oh, did you see that? I just blew the embossing powder everywhere. I don't know if you guys have ever done that, but I literally took the tag and blew on it right on top of that entire mound of embossing powder. It's everywhere. So I had to stop and clean all of that up. So don't do what I do. Make sure you turn away before you blow on your die cuts if that's something that you do. So I've got everything cleaned up, and we're going to go ahead and start putting all the tags together. We're going to do this assembly line style. So I try and do all of the same function for each tag all at once. In between gluing these together, I'm going to go ahead and put a stamp block over top of it just to kind of hold it together and get a good seal. Whenever I make tags, I do a front and the back because I think it adds a nice weight to it, and also I like the finished edge on both sides because I'll typically write my message on the back. So I'm just using Nuvo adhesive to dot some glue onto that topper there. I love this tag set. I wish I had one that was just like this and just a little bit larger, so I may look for something like that. I find myself wanting a little bit more room in some of my scenes, but I just love the toppers to this so that you can bring in the color one more time. And so this is again the stitched dress up tag set from Simon. So I'm going to keep adding the little pieces. They actually have two different dies that you can use for the reinforced hole there, and so I'm using the stitched one, and again I'm kind of mixing up the colors. After I get those adhered, I'll put foam tape on the back of the sweaters. And then I wanted to add some, this is white and a metallic red twine. I think it was Recollections brand. I got it from Michael's, and I'm just going to tie it like a gift box, really. So I'm going to use my reverse tweezers to hold my knot there until I can get it knotted myself. And then I'm going to tie this in a bow, and I'm going to fiddle around with my bow for a while. So long that, in fact, I edited some of that out because it was just ridiculous. So I'm just looking at the placement of my sweater. We'll go ahead and take the backing off of the foam tape and put that directly over the twine. That'll also help to keep your twine in place and nice and stable. I wanted to trim the ends of the twine, and then I'll also peel it up just a little bit to get that twine directly in the middle of the neck there. So I'll just use my tweezers to get better placement of that. And I think that looks super cute. So I'm going to take this small Happy New Year tag and run that through and just put the same kind of twine up on the top and just loop that through. Make sure that you trim your ends as well so that you've got nice ends. If it's twine that, you know, unravels a little bit, you can put a little glue on the ends, and then that's just showing you that gift box kind of wrapping behind. So here's a close-up of the finished tags. Again, I used all the gold embossing for the tags, and I think they came out super cute. I'm excited to send some of these out. Here's another view, and I hope that you enjoyed this video today. If you did, hit the like button below and be sure to subscribe. You can also subscribe to my Instagram at NotableInk and my blog at notableink.com. I'll link a couple more videos below that are also from the Fun and Festive release. And thank you so much for stopping by today. Have a great day.